Welcome back to Cheche, live on Citizen TV. With just 3 days to go before the unveiling of the new Jubilee Party, promises abound, a new dawn, the end of ethnic-based politics, ideological clarity. Really? Well, Onyango Oloo, the Secretary General of TNA, says yes. But Alfred Keter, the Nandi Hills Member of Parliament, used to say no. Now he says yes. They are our guests today. And before the break, we were coming into what happens after Saturday.
Yes.
What happens?
After Saturday, we will walk out of Kasarani with one party, the Jubilee Party, JP, united, stronger, clear in our mind what we stand for, and we will start the journey towards making sure that Kenyans understand us, understand what we stand for, join us in the march towards transforming our great nation.
As you were speaking, as you were pitching, I was expecting that you'd tell us what you will do differently that was not done by NAC.
Thank you.
Because
or TNA.
I mean, we had NAC actually.
Yes.
A coalition of various political parties coming together,
yes.
And the message was clear: let us bring Kenyans together. The same message you're resonating. What's different?
Thank you so much. And I wish you had asked that earlier, but I'll make a point of making it clear to you. There has never been a merger in the strict sense of the word merger in this country. In 1966, when KADU joined KANU, KADU dissolved itself and the members crossed over as individuals to join KANU. When NDP joined KANU in 1998, simply NDP was dissolved and the members crossed to the other side and they joined KANU. As for the NAC, it was even a different story. There was no party even being dissolved. What happens is the party formed a coalition. When you form a coalition, you do not move away from your ideological basis. You only look at those whose ideologies or whose basis or whose manner of operation are closer to you, then you form a working arrangement. That is what happened during the 2002 NAC government.
But the clarion call was the same. Sorry, the clarion call was the same. Unite Kenya, kill ethnicity.
Yes, I'm coming to that. But remember, we are going to, in the coalition, unite Kenya, kill ethnicity, but I still have my house. Okay? So what Lipokosana, when LDP looked inside there and did not see the position of a prime minister, they waged the war cry. And we all know what happened. So with the merger, the difference, with the merger, we are all collapsing into one shared vision, shared ideologies, with one leadership that will be offering guidance as to how we move to the next level.
Okay,
so you're making them desperate.
Desperate
because if they look in like LDP and find nothing that they want, they have no place to fall back.
I wish you get it right, that each party first and foremost are making their own deliberate, conscious and voluntary decisions to merge.
Okay.
In other words, there are over 50 parties who have said we are not merging with you. So this is a merger of the willing.
How does that respond to this by Reginald? This talk about uniting Kenyans is how we ended up with a one-party dictatorship. And remember that you've talked about mergers, LDP, NAC, but you started at KANU. And what happened as a result of that? We had a one-party system, and eventually all these people who were in KANU left to pursue their own political ambitions. So how is this new Jubilee Party going to avoid the same fate as KANU?
You remember what I've told you, those who are not mergers. Those who are people dissolving and rushing to those parties as individuals. Here are situations that parties, for the first time in the African continental soil, various parties that have got existence as legal entities are saying, let us unite our people, let us come together as a major force to shape the destiny of our people. And I have made this repeatedly. The aim is not just to form the government. Forming the government is just a step towards transforming the lives of our people, which is the ultimate objective. And we realize that in as much as we try under the coalition arrangement, under whatever systems that have happened, we need the people to be pulling together in the same indivisible unit as our country is.
But, sorry, just a minute from one of our viewers. The JP merger has no internal democracy within its membership. I foresee rebellion. And that's the point you're making, that once people look in and see that there is no room for their political aspirations, they will leave, go into other parties or run as independents. Which in the long term, if you say that JP is going to win the elections and cement some sort of political legacy, you have no numbers. So what,
if you are saying so, and probably it went as the others we have referred to, I would have really understood and sympathized with those sentiments. How do you look at your values and miss them there when you have been part of the negotiating team for the last 1 year? All those parties had their chairman, their secretary generals, and their executive directors as members of the National Steering Committee. And all of them determined how they wanted and intended the constitution and the rules of the party to be and to shape the destiny of the political landscape in this country.
Well, you have said there are 13. Those ones who are having challenges in court. But there are 50 political parties.
Yes.
According to the register of political parties, has 50 political parties. So how does that unite Kenya? 13 out of 50.
Precisely. The longest journey starts with one step. You once told me in this very show, viewers, and we have started it, and we have not closed the door to further mergers.
Again, if you look at the remaining parties, the 37 of them, other than ODM and Wiper and Ford Kenya, the rest are briefcase parties.
He cannot name 10.
He can't name 2.
I can't name, but they're there. They are registered political parties. But the problem, in fact, other people want to. There are even applications now. People like Esther Passaris wanting to register our own party.
Are you contradicting yourselves? Because if you are saying on the same breath that we are killing democracy, on the same breath that they are still registered in political parties, which of these two do you want us to handle?
Okay. There's quite a bit of cynicism from our viewers. Thomas, let Keter not fool us that we're going places. How far have we gone for the 4 years, if not corruption and corruption? And you say that you are a crusader against corruption. The Jubilee merger will not see the light of day come August 2017 because it's based on bought loyalty. And someone took issue with you in particular, saying that you had been compelled to see the light of this new Jubilee party. How do you defend yourself?
Those are compelled or allegations, and I don't know whatever. You see, those are let me say about the corruption, and it is not any government or any individual or member of parliament that can. Corruption is a fight that all of us, every citizen, has a role and responsibility to fight corruption. Because corruption is not just at the top level, even at the grassroots level. It is those people who give bribes to the policemen, those people who bribe to get services, those people, it is all of us who are corrupt.
Okay, so listen to this from Onyango. By ensuring those in a looting spree are solemnly in Jubilee to abet impunity and erase traces of evidence just in case. That has to do with corruption. And the question we had asked our viewers, and which we've been addressing ourselves to, is will this new Jubilee party change politics in Kenya? And the response from Onyango is by ensuring that those on a looting spree are in Jubilee to abet impunity.
No, I think that is a misplaced. Like some of us, we are members now of a Jubilee party. But we are not, I don't know what that is a statement.
And just to add to that, a political party, just like a church or any organization, you will have the saints and you will also have the thieves. So what is important is us as a party, and more so when we form the government, that we put in place institutions that would meaningfully fight these vices.
Yeah.
But take it from me, it is not a walk in the park. It is not going to be easy. In fact, the corrupt and the thieving ones are the ones who walk fast in as saints. But if we have strong institutions, first starting by strong political units, like a political party that is strong, that is sound, that has got decisive and effective leadership, then we'll be able to detect them very fast and to hand them over to proper institutions, and will not allow them to come and take cover under the guise of the party leadership.
Onyango, are you buying members?
How do you buy them?
Are you buying parties?
What is their value? Tell me. Maybe you know how much you would pay to buy one. What is the price? And if we knew, probably, then we would be talking of Mr. Mutegi's about 50,000, or her party is being bought at 30,000. So the answer is no. The people want to join the party of the future, a party that has committed to transforming their lives and changing the way things are done in this country and in this continent.
Let me ask you, when you talk about corruption and abuse of office, how is the State House involved in this matter of a political party?
The head of government happens to be a TNA member. His deputy happens to be a URP member and leader. These are some of the parties that are part of the Jubilee party. So you must accept that political leaders, when they form the government, the line between the party and the government is sometimes blurred to those who refuse to see it.
Isn't that called abuse of incumbency?
To those who refuse to see it. He plays the role as head of state. But when he comes out to the politics of the day, he's also a politician. So to clarify for you, President Uhuru Kenyatta is also going to be the party leader of the Jubilee Party, and His Excellency Deputy President William Ruto is going to be the deputy party leader. So you are not going to tell us that when they walk into State House, they cease being our party leaders.
So the thinness of this line informed the decision on that meeting on State House grounds.
How?
I mean, because this line is so thin that we had to have this function.
That happens also to be the residence of the president. Can you get that right? That the president happens to also be a resident of State House.
In his capacity as president of the Republic of Kenya, not as party leader.
Thank you so much. As head of state, president of the Republic of Kenya, who also happens to be a party leader. He meets his family there also as head of his family.
Okay.
So nothing stops him from meeting his political party there.
How do you defend yourselves against accusations of abuse of incumbency?
How?
If you've talked about ideological clarity,
yes.
if you've talked about social interventions, if you've talked about values,
yes.
Should this not be incumbent upon you to make the distinctions between state and party as clear as possible?
And when we talk about separation of powers, it is a totally different realm from when we are talking about clarity of values. On issues of separation of powers and authority, that usually depend on how strong, if you look for instance at the communist China.
Separation of material resources?
Pardon?
Separation of...
And you know how frequently we have tried, even when the leader of court the other day was prime minister. He had to attend rallies with the state security because he's the prime minister of the country, but he's also the leader of the CORD brigade. If something were to happen to him, we would not say that that happened to Raila. It would be the prime minister. So that line, you must define it, and you must accept that at some point it becomes very thin. If the president were to be told that you must surrender all state resources when you are going to a political party, then we are going to say even your security, leave them here, all the vehicles, leave them here, you just walk in there as a politician.
What about
were something to happen to him in a political rally, and it has happened to other leaders, where would you place it? In fact, you would be the first as the media fraternity to ask where were the state machinery in the protection of the head of state.
We are in a different view, different angle. The use of state resources to finance political party matters.
Where has that been used, Bonamute?
How do we know we are not using state resources?
He who alleges must prove. I thought you knew. You are saying there is use. We don't use.
I wanted you to deny that.
Can I tell you clearly that we do not use state resources to finance political parties? As the National Alliance, as the United Republican Party, we are funded by the Exchequer, and lawfully so. Then we get money from our members, and those monies is not very small money. It is enough to run our activities and programs.
Does that inform the affluence we are seeing around on social media towards the launch? And how does that sit with what you are saying, economic empowerment to all Kenyans across the board?
The money
you are showing a brand new Prado, a new glazed building to somebody who has not had a meal for 3 days.
Tell us about the cost of this.
When you wrote your constitution and you ingrained political parties and institutions there, when you bequeath that document to Kenyans and to future generations, and when you wrote the Political Parties Act and said political parties must be funded so that they don't beg and depend on state legies, on individuals' legies, you cannot run away from that. As to how we spend our money is also spelled out in that legislation. If the Jubilee coalition, we have decided we want to spend our money to play our politics, but someone says, I want to spend my money to enrich my family, that is their choice. The law will catch up with them. We have decided that we are in this business for seriousness, and we are using this money to make our offices be offices that are tenable, make sure that we have got vehicles that can play politics. If someone else has hidden his money in his pocket, we cannot be held to account.
Tell us the cost of this glitz. Tell us
before that, I want to add on what he's saying. There is a very thin line between when that is the reason why there is this statement that you can say the ruling party.
Yes.
When you are in government, there is a very thin line, but you have to leave. You see, the question is, if political parties should be accused of using public resources to run the political affairs, there are institutions like Auditor General, us in Parliament, who plays oversight. Let that case be taken to where it belongs. When that time comes and someone is saying that some department of parastatal gave out 20 million or 200 million to Jubilee Party, that is when we can argue that question. But let us leave it at that and say Jubilee Party is blessed with a lot of people who are willing to support.
Okay, tell us about the cost.
The cost of
this exercise, this 3-day.
We would be able to tell you the actual amounts when we have
a budget.
spent it.
You have a budget.
We have a budget. I can assure you it is not the things you are reading in the media.
What is it?
It is very reasonable amount.
And it is
very, very reasonable.
Mr. Oloo, I'm still requesting you to tie to me the social interventions you talked about as one of the ideologies of this new party vis-a-vis the affluence that is being displayed ahead of the launch of this party.
My friend, it doesn't mean that if you have social interventions you go hungry.
And it doesn't mean you eat a 6-course meal as your neighbor or your gate man goes hungry.
And what you probably see as affluence could be just reasonable lifestyle. If I took you somewhere to Kibera, if I took you to Kibera with your suit, my friend, those people would say this tie alone would do for us 3-course meal for even a whole week.
Before I go to Kibera in this suit, I would ensure that I'm carrying a kilo of sugar or a piece or a loaf of bread.
And that is what we have done for this country. We have got the Women Fund, we have got the Youth Fund, and I've told you we have brought the interest down by capping it against all expectations.
Mr. Oloo, let's get this straight. I think it's important we clear this. Women Fund, Youth Fund were not a creation of Jubilee. Jubilee just enhanced it.
Thank you. And do you know when you are in government, you can refuse to enhance or you can scrap it? We have numbers in Parliament. So when we enhanced it, what did we do? We confirmed our commitment to it. And by enhancing it, it showed that we had more commitment to that aspect of governance.
So the whole of next year, from Saturday, the people who will be running Jubilee Party are interim throughout, from the village level to the leader of the party. They are interim.
They are interim.
Because there will be no elections.
They are interim. Immediately after elections.
That is next 2018.
The elections are 2017. They could be a day after. We have not said 2018.
Okay, we've addressed that point. I'm curious about the special interest groups that you talked about, the women, the youth, people with disabilities, and how, right, the elderly, how the new Jubilee Party looks after them.
Yes. As a party, I've told you, we have put our values in our constitution. And at the party level, there are values that are translated into tangible actions by the government that we form. So if we move from that level, the Jubilee Party has not formed the government, will form the government. But the Jubilee Coalition, which is a bedrock of the Jubilee Party, is in government. And how it works towards this, you saw that we are still committed, for instance, to the gender rule. And the president, none other than the president and his deputy, have stated we must pass this gender rule because we must empower our
How is it that you're able to whip MPs into passing the party hopping clause, but you just can't seem to mobilize the numbers when it comes to the gender rule?
Good work. You know that patriarchy has been with us for hundreds of years. Party hopping is something that has been with us, that's always not been with us, for about 50 years. When you are dealing with patriarchy, you are dealing with a totally different animal that even the children you are within the house, or even your own husband or your own wife, you will be shocked. These gentlemen who are here may probably be cheating you, that's so committed to gender, but on their own they'll be looking at, no, this is not how we see it. So patriarchy is a different game altogether. As a party, we are saying our people must see that times have changed, that our women are part of the game, they are part of the team. And as Obama once told us, no team can win when half of it is not playing.
So we should look forward to seeing a lot more of what Jubilee Coalition has been doing in the new party.
A lot more, especially in issues to do with the empowerment of women, empowerment of youth, improvement of infrastructure, and even the fight against the vices that have plagued our country. We are going to strengthen those institutions firmly because we have reaffirmed our commitment to them in our values.
Does this include the fight against corruption?
Of course, that is one of the greatest vices that has continued to plague this country.
But you know, though, that the perception is that quite a few of Jubilee's members, loyalists, are involved in corruption.
Precisely, and that's why I was asking.
And you also know very well that for the first time in Kenya's history, 4 ministers at a go were asked to step aside, and some did not even make it back. And we know that for the first time in the history of this country, cabinet ministers flying the flag of the republic were arraigned before the court. What other commitments do you want from us? To arraign them and shoot them? No, due process must and will always be followed.
This is Cheche. We're live on Citizen TV. We're counting down to the launch of the new Jubilee Party. Will it really change politics in Kenya? Can it change politics in Kenya? Our Twitter hashtag is Cheche.